Well, good evening, everybody. Hope you had a good time. Hope you were watching the premiere of our little behind the scenes video. That is the last shoot that we did, September 30th, October 1st and 2nd, I think it was. Of course, I'm here with our co-director and post-production supervisor, Mark Edward Lewis. Mark, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good here in Tennessee. Cold.
Yeah, it's kind of cold down here in Georgia, too. My dogs didn't spend too long outside when I walked them right before then. But I have great to see it. And, of course, Goodney Goodnesson is here, who we want to say hi to. Goodney is half of the team of Dave and Goodney that are funding the rest of the Axanar project. And we owe it arigato gozaimasu. Goodney is in Japan, and we love him dearly. And he's been a big benefactor of us. So thank Goodney, and say hi to him. But we got a great crew here. Sturm von Alk, who is also known as Paul. We can call him Paul now since he's retired, is here. So how are you? Elder Hoothouse is here. So guys, thanks for joining us. Let's just real big picture. We're going to talk real big picture about what's happening. We right now have 16 of the 18 actors in the can. And we will, we've talked about it. We actually were at 16 of 17 the day after the shoot. And then we watched the film and we're like, this isn't right. There was one character who we just felt like we needed something a little different. So we kept what we shot, but we're adding another actor in. So what's happening is in February, I'm not going to hit the date yet, but in February is our last shoot. It's one day. It's here in Atlanta. And then we are finished with principal photography and we go to post-production full-time, because right now we're in post-production, even though we're not complete. It's just, moving along slowly and we're taking our steps. But things are starting, putting the team together, getting everyone on board. So things are moving along. I hope everyone was able to transfer over easily from that premiere into our live stream. We've never done that before. So thank you. Thank you very much, Spy Dennis. We appreciate that. We're all about Star Trek here. I mean, we love it. So thank you so much. Michelle Evans is here, and I always have to take the time. Every time I see Michelle, I do have to plug her book, The X-15 Rocket Plane by Michelle Evans. It's available on Amazon. If you want the definitive account of the X-15 program, like I did, you got to get this book. It is right here on my bookshelf, on where with all the books I always like picking up and reading. So there you go. Hey, Wright Sublet is here. Hey, how are you, my friend? And there's John Tesler, as always. He is a fixture here. And listen, thank you, ManCat15 gives us a $5 super chat. Thank you. Why don't you open a website and crowdfund that way? The Ripverse raised millions that way. Listen, we did crowdfund, and was very, very successfully. And by the way, if anyone wants to read the actual financials from the $1.4 million we originally raised to do the feature film before CBS sued us, all the financials are up on the Axanar website. Just go to axanar.com, and you'll just see in the blog down there. It's one of the top articles. All of our financials from 2014 to 2016 are there for you to check out. And just since the haters are probably watching this, I'll just rub in one more that all of our financials were reviewed by our attorneys, our LA accountants, our Atlanta accountants, Fraser and Dieter, which is the #1 film production accounting firm in Atlanta, and an independent financial review committee who saw everything. So you can rest assured everything's right. As a matter of fact, I've had my first phone call with Fraser and Dieter about doing an audit for us. just because some people just have their heads up their butts and still want to say. Matter of fact, one idiot said we stole $475,000 because he saw the bank statement. So he's like, "Look, you transferred this from one account to another." Yeah, I transferred into the interest-bearing savings account, you idiot. That's what we do. So anyway, if you have any questions, the financials are up there, and I'm always happy to answer questions. As Willem says, yeah, they are kind of crazy, aren't they? They're a little desperate. But all right, moving on to the positive, not them. Thank you, W. Letty says, great BTS. We thank you very much for that. And there's Jeff Scott from New Zealand, who is one of our favorite people. Talk to him all the time. He's a guy comes to San Diego Comic-Con once every few years. Let's see. I just want to see anything else. Okay. Will Axanar be on large screen? Like I assume, Kenny, you're saying in the movie theaters. We will premiere it in a movie theater. It won't be distributed. It'll be distributed online through YouTube. So all the perks that everyone's due, Dave Lanyon has already talked to me about funding those. Make sure we get those out. We have a plan to get out the Blu-ray. We have a plan for a West Coast premiere in LA at the hopefully Grauman's Chinese Theater, which our good friend Goodney has some connections with, and then also offsite during Star Trek Las Vegas. We'll be doing a big premiere there, and make sure everyone has the Blu-rays by that time as well. So so that's kind of what we're doing. Mark, what are you working on right now with Axanar? And I know with half the question because you and I work on stuff together.
Well, right now we're working on primarily the sound for the visual effects shots and the library for what's going to be over 130 visual effects shots out in space with at least that many ships. So there's lots and lots of work to do there. And then Alec, you and I are going to do another once over the assemblies that we have, because we do have a shoot coming up and there's some other things we might want to tweak. Never hurts to go do that. And then of course we're starting the process of whatever visual effects shots we don't currently have done, doing the storyboards, the previs, all that stuff that is very necessary. Not that we don't trust our visual effects teams to do some great work, but the more people who absolutely love Star Trek and starship porn, the better. So that's us putting all of our minds together and saying, how should this really look? Because it's one thing to sit there and say, well, look, how can we make this cool? That's what a lot of fan films, I believe, do. They say, how can we really make these shots look amazing? But we're really focused on making sure that the virtual camera is in the right place to tell the story. There's some incredibly dramatic shots that aren't just pretty, they're also critical to how the story is told. So some things that I don't think anybody's done yet in the Star Trek lore, we're going to do, and being able to get the right vantage point is what's really critical to me. Until such time as we have the ability to screen a show where you, the audience, can determine where you want to be in a full 360 environment. I mean, I can't wait for that. I'm sure the visual effects team can definitely wait for that, because that'd be some major processing power. But until then, we have to determine where you're going to see it, from where you're going to see it, and what angles. And that's a lot of work. It's a lot of thinking and a lot of collaboration, which Alec and the storyboard team and the visual effects team and I are going to be jumping into tomorrow, actually.
And there's a question right there for you.
Will it be in 4K? No, we're mastering in 2K, which if you're in a theater, which we will be, even on a 4K projector, is probably going to look pretty good, especially at Mann's Chinese or whatever. Is it Grauman's? Is it Mann's?
Grauman's Chinese.
It's Grauman's Chinese. Back to Grauman's we go. Okay, so I saw Star Wars at Grauman's Chinese in 1977. So whatever. Okay, I'm glad we're going back there. So it'll be in 2K, and then obviously for the Blu-ray, it'll be at 1080p. However, we've made the decision that we are going to do the sound in 5.1. So that's going to be, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more work, but it's a lot more fun to be able to go, well, so the D6 is coming from back here and coming there. It's a lot more fun.
Yes, it will be streaming online, Larry. Everyone who donated will be getting their perks. So if you donated, and most of the people who donated got a Blu-ray, those will be shipped out before we premiere, like probably the week before. They'll all be in the mail. So if there's something CBS doesn't like too late, it's already in the wind. And Happy New Year to you, John Davis. Someone asked about conventions. Yes, we will be doing the convention circuit. Absolutely. We've got a lot of people who are anxious to be part of it and come see us. And we had a great time when we did the convention circuit back in 2015. We just had an absolutely fantastic time. We did in 2016 as well. Even during the lawsuit, we did. And of course, yes, as Stern points out, it will be on the Axanar YouTube channel. So that's where, listen, sign up for the newsletter. There's the link down below. Just go to our website, click on the newsletter link, sign up. That's the best way you can keep in touch with everything that's happening. We do, and I'm starting to pick back up with the weekly live streams, which are usually Friday for Axanar Confidential. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the notifications icon, and make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. That way, there's no way to miss being informed about what we're doing and what we're letting everyone know.
If I can jump in and just say, for those of you who are getting a Blu-ray, next to watching it in a theater, however you want to work that out, or if you come to LA or wherever, the most immersive experience you're going to have watching our episodes, including Prelude for that matter, is on the Blu-ray, because it's the only place that'll be streaming the full high-resolution surround sound experience that we mixed at Michael Bodeker's studio way back, and we're going to hopefully do the same again. So watching it on the internet is great, but you're only going to get stereo out of it. So you really want to jump in, it's going to be the Blu-ray.
There you go. There you go. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do on the Blu-ray too. And I'm just looking. Yeah, and we do, Jeff. Believe me, love to come down and do Oz and do New Zealand. We would love to do that, and I know you have two big conventions down there. So yes, absolutely. Hopefully, listen, when we released Prelude, it was a phenomenon. And hopefully we are doing that justice. I can tell you the shoot that's set for next month. I just booked the plane tickets for the two actors. Very excited about both those actors. It's just, that has been one of the things, obviously when we did Prelude, we had some just amazing actors. This time the cast is, whereas the cast was 6 for Prelude, for these two episodes, the cast is 18, so 3 times as large. And maintaining that quality of actor is really important. It's bad enough you have to deal with me, so let's make sure everyone else knows what they're doing. And so we had a great shoot.
He did great, everybody, by the way. He did fantastic for all of his stuff. It's great. You'll love it. Don't listen to it. It's great.
Thank you. How many actors did we put in the can?
In September?
Yeah.
5? 4?
No, more than that. 1, 2, 3. Well, we had 2 Andorians, 1 Vulcan.
Oh, yeah. We had 3.
1 Klingon.
6.
That's 4. 4, 5, 6. Is that it?
Yeah.
Was it only 6?
Yep.
Okay. So, but yeah, we had a blast. It was great. So I think everything's going. I think when you see it, because certainly when we look at it, we're looking at assemblies now, right? So an assembly Mark is basically taken, all the actors and dropped them into a timeline. Obviously, we don't have visual effects, so you're just seeing a blank, literally a black screen that says VFX.
We have a few from yesteryear, but
Yeah, yes, we do.
Yeah.
what we get to see everything, and that's how kind of, and the beauty of, I will say, the beauty of not shooting everything at once is we shoot, you put it in the timeline, and you see how it works, and then you make adjustments, and those adjustments have been everything from changing lines to changing where lines are in the script, to taking whole scenes out. I mean, like, 2 scenes that were in the script that are big battle scenes, and we took them both out. They didn't work. They slowed it down, and they bloated it. And also, we're limited to 15 minutes. Prelude was 21. I think it was 21 with credits. So, we have to adhere to that. So you'll get 50% more footage.
50% more.
Yes.
Don't order
a free steak knife.
So yeah, it was like a tin can.
So yeah. So there you go. So Mark and I have spent a lot of time, and we, we're going to go back and do it again tomorrow, and we just look at the timeline and how do things work, and do we need to change? And we missed this line, so we got to pick it up at the next shoot, and maybe that means a different actor is saying that line.
And also now that we have actors in, not just Alec and Crystal and I bumbling our way through, VO, temporary VO, it's like, oh, that's a great performance that kind of upstages this line. Let's cut the end of that one off, or let's split this and put it over here. It really changes when you put the real McCoy in, sorry the pun, and you're like, oh, this is how we're going to recut it. So right now, the current assembly is more or less how we left it before the shoot in September. I put the actors in, they're sitting in the timeline. We now know what we had to cut down to get it back to the guidelines, et cetera. And so now we have 2 more actors to shoot. We're going to drop them in. And at that point, everything's going to be in, and we'll know exactly the creative license. We have a limited license. It's the script, whatever we want. But then we'll be actually doing the final cuts, really massaging the story. And then also, a lot of people don't realize it's very, very difficult to figure out how long is a visual effect shot. Like, I get to ask that, like, this shot, how long should it be? It's sort of like saying, how long is a piece of string? It depends. It's not just the story of this ship doing this. It's how much time emotionally do we need between, let's say, Alec's line and Richard's line, or Alec's line and whoever other's line is going to be, because that moment in between where all of a sudden we're looking at, I keep using the word starship pouring because the stuff we're doing, it looks so great. It changes the feel. It's not just a bunch of interviews or action. We cut to space, the whole vibe changes. So it depends on what the actor said, the pacing they said, the emotional content, the stuff that Ted was working out with all of them when we're on set. How did that show up? Well, it's going to be way better than we originally imagined us doing temporary VO. So it's kind of like Christmas. Every time we drop footage into the timeline, it's like, well, that's amazing. Or that's so amazing, it shouldn't go there. Let's put it over here, or let's cut it in half and move it like on the other side of the visual effect shot. So there's a lot of massaging that's happening and will continue to happen until we get the last shots into the timeline. Once it's there, then everything just kind of the screws get put onto the timeline, and we call it's locked. And then, then that's when the real race to July happens in post-production.
So let me answer a couple questions. Craig McKenzie says, what do donors have to do who have changed addresses a bunch of times since donating? Yeah, easy, very, very easy. Here, I'll even show it to you. What you're going to do is you're going to go to our website, which I have here somewhere. Okay, here it is. All right, so here's our website, right? What you're going to do is you go up to the tab that says Axanar Donors, okay? Go to the tab up top. It says Axanar Donors, and you're going to click on that. Once you click on that, it takes you to the Axanar donor site, okay? And just follow the instructions right here. If you've used it before, log in. If you haven't, I'm a previous donor. And and you can even create an account if you've never donated before. Okay, so there you go. That's what you do. Axanar donors up and just update your information. Right, that'll take you in. You'll update your information. Okay, Craig. So thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for donating as well. Michelle has had to take off. Will Axanar be creating original sci-fi content once Axanar is finished, or will we be taking a break? We're already working on other, which is both original content as well as we're working on an Orville fan film, which I'm very excited about. So there you go. So yes, there's more to come. Val, how are you? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Let me just see who we got here. Tim Norris, been a while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a trailer, David. It isn't top of mind right now. That's why we released this BTS, because this gives you an idea of like, what are we doing, right? That's what we really want you to know. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, so do we. What can I say? We love it too. By the way, there are model kits of the Axanar ships, and the Ares Studio store is down, and that team, because we have a new management team that they're running Ares Studios, and it's pretty exciting actually. We're running Ares Productions, which is right now what we're doing everything, or the name under which we're doing the new projects. So there you go. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. Oh, Val, I'm so sorry to hear about your father there. That's sorry. Yeah, my father is fading as well. I know my mom passed away in July, and so Dad's not doing so well now. So my heart goes out to you, Val. Oh, yes. Sure, I do remember, Craig. Of course I remember now. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, no, they're not happy with anything. So there you go. I'll tell you about what you're going to see. I mean, obviously, you're going to see a lot more characters in Axanar in the next 2 episodes, which are The Gathering Storm is episode 4 and Crucible is episode 5. And I think that's it. And you're going to see, Gary Graham is back as Soval. And obviously I'm back. J.G. Hertzler is back. You've seen Raj Kala as Commodore Singh. Many of you have seen him before. There's a lot, and it's characters like that, characters you haven't seen before that you're really going to love. Our Vulcan, Captain Arev, she's awesome.
Amazing.
She is so good. And so I think, I think they'll be like last time where everyone was like, oh, wow, look at Tony Todd as the Admiral, or Gary Graham's back, whatever. There's going to be moments like that with the cast here. There are going to be people you've never heard of, and you go, God damn, that guy is good as Robert April, or who's the Admiral? Holy crap, that's really, and we want you to, that's obviously very important, that you feel as strongly as we do about the cast. And I think that, that's one of the things that separates Axanar, and in neither in a good or a bad way. It's just, that's what we're known for. We want to give you something that you can buy into and you can believe in it. It's something that's just creates another reality within the universe of Star Trek.
Goodney, if I can answer that, There's no one scene that's missing because actors flow through all the episodes. So if we're missing one actor, then it's not necessarily a particular scene we're missing. It's all their performances in all the scenes that they'd be in. So, this is a very unusual production in that we're not shooting scenes. We're shooting actors that are through all the productions. So That's why it's very difficult. It's difficult to imagine what we're having to face at the moment, because we're putting together scenes, but there's an actor that's missing at this point, 2 actors that are missing from all scenes. So that's why we're still in an assembly place. We pretty much have it put together, but we're still missing 2 actors in every scene that they're in. So that's why, and of course the visual effects is also missing on the whole. So, which is again systemic. So it's not any particular scene we're missing. It's the actual talent, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Question. So if you think literally about a time limit, if you think about a long black line, and you think about little white spots all along that little white black line, that's how the assembly looks right now, because we don't have those. But once we have those actors, believe me, there were a lot more white space before the shoot in October. Now we're just missing the 2.
There's a lot more bad voiceover from me, that's for sure. It's been replaced.
Yes, Gary Graham was Ambassador Saval in Enterprise and in Axanar. So yes, that's right, Lightning. And we have him back, and we're happy to have him back too.
He was great.
I think you guys are all going to be great. So yeah, so it's great because it's starting now to feel like now we really, it's a little less imagination or more, oh yeah, this is going to work. This is good. I mean, we're still making edits. Mark and I edited, we literally edited out 3 words yesterday, but it's, we said, I was like, this doesn't work. He's like, yeah, no, I know that doesn't work. So we're like, good, it's gone.
Cutting room floor.
And we'll on the editing room floor. So we will be working on, and we have the opportunity, also with this shoot to add, maybe we add this, or, since we're adding a character, since we're bringing, we're recasting a character, it gives us the ability to give that character more lines, if appropriate, right? You never do anything just because you can. You do it because the story needs it.
It serves the production. If it doesn't serve the production, even like some of the things when I used to do shots or directing for New Voyages back in the day, in those days, Tobias Richter used to do those fan films back long before we had guidelines or anything, and he'd make the most gorgeous, just these shots. You're just like, I have to watch that over and over. It's so good. Cutting room floor, because it slowed down. I mean, I would try my best to get those shots in there, and even then, I'm like, I just can't. So I love what one of you said earlier. They're like, hey, well, the shots that are not going to make it, can we get those into the Blu-ray? Just, remember this, though. There's no such thing as 2001: A Space Odyssey space shots anymore. Yes, there's no sound in space, and there's nothing good about silent sci-fi. So we have to add, there's so much that goes into a really good feeling visual effects shot from an audio perspective. So it's not just whoosh. It's like every ship, just so you all know, every ship that goes by in Axanar at minimum is 8 tracks deep. Every ship, which means if you've got 10 ships in a shot, that's 40, 60, 80 tracks of just audio. That all has to be mixed. It has to go from back to front. It has to, and if there's another ship that comes in front of it, that the sound of this ship gets muted, not only in volume, but also in EQ. There's so much that goes into that. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. I think that's a great idea, but it's work that may not get done before we deliver, just so you know. Because watching watching silent visual effects shots is amazing, but it's not that interesting.
Yeah. Goodney, tell you what, when you come here for the February shoot, we'll go out for a banana split. How's that?
So much better than a banana spit.
Yeah. Whoops. Someone just, I just missed. Thank you, Lightning. Let me get to the, yes, as a matter of fact, we have. A lot
Period.
easier to talk to, a lot nicer than CBS. No, it doesn't come up, Eric. It's just not an important story point. All of our Klingons are pretty classic TNG, Deep Space Nine era. Okay, so zero. There's no chance that Paramount has any interest in making nice with us. They have been doing their best to screw with Axanar. I will say that, and they can send me an email if they think that's disparaging. But no, the fact is they've been playing dirty for the past year or so. However, there's a chance that Warner Brothers buys Paramount, and I'm holding my hope out for that. Along with so an acquisition would mean a lot of heads would roll.
Mm-hmm.
So,
as always,
yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed.
And a lot of currently slated productions get thrown in the trash.
Yep.
New minds, new ideas.
Yes, Liz. Yeah, everyone loves that skydiver back there. Built by Martin Bauer, one of the original model makers for UFO. So if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. Please make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. That is the best way to keep in touch with what's happening. Goody says Warner would be good for Axanar. Oops. What is it? Well, good. We'll have to talk about that, Goody. Yes, let's hope, right? Let's hope Warner Brothers takes over. I think that would be, having a IP like Star Trek with Warner Brothers would be a whole new world, because Star Trek is, stagnated. And when it's come back, under Kurtzman's reign, there were a lot of missteps, in my humble opinion as a fan, and we all have our opinions on that. But there's been a lot of good too. I mean, Prodigy, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds. I mean, so, take it as is. Picard season 3. By the way, we now that we're starting to do podcasts and such, you should be checking out. I moved up our playlist to the top. So anything new that's coming out, any update or whatever, is right there at the top of the website, of the YouTube channel. So you can check it out and see what's happening. I just did a podcast interview on another podcast, and we just posted a link to theirs, so you can come on and see it and just go, oh, Alec did a podcast over here. Let me click on it. You'll be taken to it. Podcasts are there. Video updates are there. Other people who've done who do reviews. The camera crew from the last, we have their video podcast up. So
they're hilarious.
We're really trying to keep you guys updated, informed about everything that's happening. How will the Discovery merger? Okay, you mean Warner Brothers Discovery? That is what. I will not comment on that, but thank you. No, Brian, because I don't have that kind of money. That 3-foot TOS model was recently found, and I'm sure it will go to auction to settle matters, and I'm sure it will go for. Well, let's see. The Red 5 X-wing just went for $2.5 million. What would the three? There's only two Enterprises. The big 8-foot, however, the big Enterprise is in the Smithsonian. There's that one, and then there's the 3-foot one. Assuming this is verified as the 3-foot one, which it seems like it is. Wow, what millionaire? I mean, now Paul Allen's dead. Jeff Bezos is a fan.
Goodney's probably going to bid on it.
It's it is a. I'd be shocked if it went for less than $5 million. To be honest with you, there's got to be some rich guy that wants an original series enterprise.
Yes, I will. Love it.
There you go, Dave the Crowd. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's it's this big long journey. We're releasing also we're releasing Prelude 10 years from. We're releasing the next 2 episodes 10 years from the time we released Prelude, and we're doing a big documentary about it as well. So there's something to be said there about that journey, and weathering a lawsuit, weathering COVID, weathering a director who files a fraudulent copyright. I mean, there's all sorts of things, challenges that we've faced.
A move across North America.
A move. And
4 or 5 directors now.
yeah, we're on director number 4, and clearly the best.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. That's right. 4 and 4.5, I guess.
4. Yes. The 4s.
You weren't on the stream the other night. I was trying to explain to everyone why there are 2 directors on the next 2 episodes, and so I'll just tell everyone again. The problem with the last 2 directors is they both wanted to basically kick me out of the creative vision and do whatever the hell they wanted to do, and that's just not the way a fan film works. And so after we fired Paul Jenkins, I did a lot of soul searching about the quality of people I was and that I was giving power to. And I said, I need to keep this close with people I trust, and also I really wanted to divide the responsibilities up, because when it comes to performance and extracting performance from an actor, there's some directors that are better than others at that. And I really wanted, and Ted Brunetti, who is our director for performance, is just a master at that. I mean, I studied with him. I know what he's like. He studied with the best. He was the right hand of Uta Hagen, who was one of the legends of American theater coaching. And I really wanted him, but I also saw the work that the last director had done and how it wasn't up to snuff. It was just, he didn't like the way Prelude was shot. And I'm like, okay, what kind of idiot are you that you don't like the way Prelude was shot? I mean, that's one of the great things about Prelude was how well Milton Santiago shot that, how he just brought a different sensibility to it. It wasn't just documentary footage. It was, and granted, Milton emulated Fighting Ali, a very famous documentary, which had which when I watched Fighting Ali last year, I was like, oh, I get it, So we really needed that look. We really needed someone who understood the camera, understood how a camera worked. I mean, with a camera, there's art and science to camera work. Wouldn't you say, Mark?
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to understand both of those things. And a director who ignores either of those gets in trouble.
And they don't get in trouble while they're on set. They get in trouble in post.
Yes, exactly. I mean, when I saw the footage from Interlude, my documentary footage, Garth is in Interlude. Interlude was a fan film done by Jonathan Lane and Josh Irwin, and it's fantastic. It is top notch. You should watch it. It's on our channel. Again, we link to it. But when I saw the documentary footage, I was like, why is my eye line down? Where's the director? Well, the director was trying to talk to me and be part of the scene instead of being in Video Village and making sure the shot looked great and then coming out and directing. So I said, we need 2 people. This needs to be the way I need it to be, not the way someone else who comes in who wants to do their own thing. And Mark has been with me since the beginning, since before the beginning, and knew what Axanar was and what it needed to look like. And as I've told many times, on the first day of shooting under the new crew, which has now done 3 Axanar shoots, November 2021, January of this year, and October of this year, Mark worked with Jeff Fagan, our DP, and set up the camera. And then before we did the first shot, which was J.G. Hirschler, Mark called me over and said, he had on the screen, he had Prelude on the left and he had what we were shooting on the right, and it was an exact match. So Mark has really done a great job doing that with an eye towards post, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's what I was showing you all. There's all the footage that I took of Prelude, and I'm like, is it this shot right here? There's Alec from Prelude. Does it look like that? No, fix it. Let's fix it. Yeah, I think one of the great things that Ted and I, and fortunately, look, you do this in Hollywood, you are dead meat. 2 directors means dead production. But Ted and I get along famously, and I think both Ted and I could do each other's jobs, but we each have a bias. Ted really understands performance, and I really understand the technical side of how to set up the shots. But in my case, it's not just a bias. I'm also going to get stuck with it in post because I'm the post super. And if it sucks, it's going to be my fault. No one will remember that Ted didn't do something. They're all going to remember that I didn't do something. So, it's all that stuff rests on my shoulders. So I think Ted, on one hand, feels very free. So he's like, I don't have to worry about messing that up. If Mark messes it up, that's not my fault. I just got to get great performances. So he and I get to work together in a really, really collaborative, maybe the most collaborative way possible while you're rushing to get things done on set. So, and of course, he's directed all on his own and done great things, and I've directed all on my own and done great things. That's fine. But together, we're able to coordinate our biases, things that we're really good at. And the performances, we have sent the assembly of the performances that we have so far, and they're very rough, terrible sounding dialogue because it hasn't been cleaned up, no color correcting, to super duper Hollywood producer types, all who come back and say the same thing. They have various, ideas about how the story could be, blah, 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 but they all say the same thing: great performances. So that's very telling of Ted's work. And I'm very proud of what we're getting on tape, and it's fun to cut.
Yeah, we should also say that we have had the same crew now for 3 film shoots. Jeff Fagan's DP, as Mark and Ted as the directors,
and Jim is gaffer.
Yep, and Jim Ross as gaffer. I think did we have Dakota the first shoot? But Dakota Curtis is he's our best boy. He's / gaffer / everything. We've had the same crew, and it's been great. The camera operators have changed. Jeff started as working one camera and stepped aside, so we had to add. But boy, the beauty is people come into this operation, and as you can see from the behind the scenes video, the people come in and they're like, wow, what a professional operation. Wow, this was fun, right? I think fun and professionalism are not mutually exclusive. Yeah, we have fun by doing it right, Well,
I think we have fun because we all love Star Trek. If you're on this production, you don't hate Star Trek. We had a guy come in with a Steadicam in January, and he wasn't really a Star Trek guy, but I tell you what, he walked out going, I'm going to go watch all this stuff. If this is what this is about. And I think Roddenberry has it right when he says IDIC, infinite diversity, bring via infinite combinations. And I think that is, there was an underlying current of Axanar through all of this, almost 10 years. It's IDIC in all things.
Yeah, and I'm pointing to Goodney's comment down here. about how great the team was. Thank you, Goodney, who obviously is now an executive producer along with Dave Lanyon. Hey, Goodney said to me, I'm sure he said it to others too. He said, I've worked with a lot of crews in Hollywood, and this is as good as anything I've ever worked with. And that's high praise from someone who's in the industry, who knows what he's talking about. So thank you, Goodney. And gosh, I love the fact that we have great people now. Now believe me, now I am a lot harder on after a production. I'm digging into what went wrong. I'm digging into people. I'm like finding what, it's feedback, right? You're getting feedback. You're getting.
We definitely have an after action report done every time.
Yeah. And because once I fired Paul, I started finding out all this crap and all these people who couldn't stand him. And I was like,
well, there were accidents that happened on set, footage that was lost, nothing reported. Like we had a situation on the last, the last shoot that it unchecked could have been disastrous. Now we had redundancies and everything worked out fine, but we had to do a little digging to find out what went wrong there and exactly why it happened, and to ensure protocol so that that's never going to happen again. And that's the beauty of, I consider it part of integrity in a production, that we have an after action report going, what worked, what didn't, who sucked, who's great, who are we firing, who are we keeping.
Yeah. And the good news is we're inviting everyone back for the next, for the next shoot.
That's correct.
That everyone's coming back. I was dialing for dollars yesterday. So, the video will be up on YouTube. Lightning's asking Sturm, so I'm not sure which one you're talking. Thank you, Val. Thank you. Now I want to. There's something a little cryptic here from Goodney. I can't wait to create more content in the future in the new studios. We have had those conversations with Goodney and Dave, who are just too. And Goodney, I was so bummed that you couldn't stay to the wrap party dinner last time because it was amazing. It was truly amazing. And Dave was awesome. So, but the good news is this time, Goodney hopefully is coming over again, and he'll be hosting the wrap party dinner at the same restaurant.
Amazing.
Because I promised one of our Italian actors. So there you go.
I have to actually hop off here. I gotta jump on a call. But thank you everybody for watching. Congratulations, Alec, on another great trailer, and we'll be talking tomorrow.
You got it. I'll chat with you tomorrow, my friend.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye. So there you go. So thank you to Goodney. Michael Carter coming in at the last second, aren't you? Rod was unfortunately, Rod is a little close to the source. So we got a little too much of the corporate viewpoint from Rod, let's just say. Great guy, by the way. Great guy. One year I got to know his wife real well. I think it was right before they were married. Just total sweetheart. Loved him. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Dave. Dave the crowd. Appreciate it. Oh, well, Val, you may have to come down for the next shoot. Before, because we're right around an hour, so it's kind of time to wrap up. I hope, thank you all for sticking around. Thank you for all being a part of this live stream. Thank you. Listen, do check out our website. There's a bunch of important articles. We're also starting another program called Axanar Legal Watch. So we'll talk about all our legal woes with y'all. So stay tuned for all of that. And if you have any questions, you can just give me a call and or message me. Or Dale Simpson pops in. How you doing, Dale? And there's Brian Simpson. Hail, Brian Simpson. Boy, you guys are. What were you guys all doing? Your wives not let you out until 8 o'clock. You coming in the last second? So yeah, Dale, wait, I need to shove Pee Wee off on you for a day or two, Dale, because he has been needy lately. So yeah, sure. Dale's been choring. Okay. I do most of my choring is in the morning. So there you go. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, how did that? Yeah, that's the problem with cats. The cats mess everything up, It's like, oh, look, that's out of place, or that's knocked off, or what have you. Well, I'm just trying to look and see, because some of you asked. Yeah, let me see here. Let me see what you guys are having to say. Oh yeah, listen. Another thing is, make sure you sign up for the Axanar fan page, and also I'm going to be posting about a fan film group. You can look up Fan Film Factor on Facebook, the Fan Film Forum, which Jonathan Lane runs, which is a good place to talk about other fan films. Because listen, it's not just Axanar. There are a lot of other fan films, and it runs the gamut from, stuff shot in people's basements and houses. There's a lot. That's the bulk, I think, of fan films. You got Vance doing it. You got Potemkin doing it. You got Dreadnought Dominion. You've got Frank Parker's films, which he keeps telling me the name and I keep forgetting them. What is Frank Parker's fan film series called? I want to say Crossfield, but no, Crossfield is the class of the USS Discovery. Anyway, someone remind me what Frank Parker's films is. But anyway, they make up the bulk of Star Trek fan films. And listen, it's not for everyone. Honestly, it's not for me. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm friends with Frank or I'm friends with Vance, there you go. Thank you. I figured Stern would know it. That's Frank Parker's project, Crossroads Project. He started Dreadnought Dominion and then left that project. So there's lots of these projects that are, they're just people who want to get together and make Star Trek, and they're not worried about looking like real Star Trek, right? Because they're casting themselves, and and they're casting their friends, and they're making their sets up out of cardboard sometimes, or worse in the case of Vance. So there's a lot. There's a lot out there. Then you've got other projects like Avalon Universe with Josh Irwin, which is amazing. His latest is Crisis on Infinite Excaliburs, which is a takeoff on Crisis on Infinite Earths. So that's a great. Avalon Universe is a great series. I think, and I know he's doing a project. Excuse me, in the Avalon Universe that takes place in the Axanar time era, right? So it's his take on Axanar, which is awesome. So a lot of cool stuff in that. And what else? And then John Broughton is bringing back Farragut. They call it Farragut Forward. They're doing movie era stuff, and it looks amazing so far. And then, of course, Sam Cockings is just generating so much content. It's crazy how much Sam is doing. And those guys, all three of those guys, and then Nick Cook, let me throw Nick Cook in there as well. They do really, really good stuff. Quality visual effects. Usually Sam Cockings is doing the effects on much of it. So really good stuff. Let me see. Ooh. Oh, excuse me, Doug Grady. Hey, how are you? Thank you, John. We appreciate that. We try our best. No, Scott. It's not Scott Doohan. It's Chris Doohan. Chris Stewart played Scotty. Yeah, and he was wonderful. So yeah, so very, very good. So yeah, so I listen, you decide what you like in fan films, right? Go out and check some stuff out and see if you like it and see, and because everyone's the one thing I'll tell you, the one thing that's consistent is everyone gets Star Trek. Everyone gets Star Trek. Excuse me, the production values may vary greatly. The casting may vary greatly, but everyone understands what Star Trek is, and that's awesome, and that's something to really embrace and understand. Because let's face it, sometimes big screen Star Trek doesn't get Star Trek, right? I think that's important. All right, well, listen, that's it. We're at the end of the hour. Hey, thank you. That's exactly what's happening. It was a rough night last night because we stayed up late and then woke up and the cats, and we had some issues. So I'm going to be knocking off here. But listen, Goodney, my good friend, my brother, thank you so much. I'm really hoping you make it over here for the February shoot. Thank you, everyone. And Goodney, you need to figure out how to get on StreamYard. When I send you the link, you need to be able to click on it and figure that out. So that's where you and I work offline, so you can come and join us, and everyone can kind of get a load of you, and you can share with the audience as well. Goodney, to everyone else, Goodney is one of the world's leading experts on Kamala, which is, I guess, if I say Jewish mysticism, am I spirituality? Am I misselling it? But it's wasn't Madonna into that for a while. And Goodney is world leading presenter, author on the subject. So there you go. So Dial says cigars and Romulan ale. Yeah, you're a little late there, my friend, but welcome. And then we will be doing a Friday night Axanar Confidential this Friday. Also, the podcast should be dropping tomorrow. So check it out. That's a good one just because it talks about the financials and how we did the financials and so on and so forth for people who are interested. That's it. Okay, so thanks again. We hope you enjoyed the BTS. There will be another one after February. So March we'll have another little BTS video, and definitely be. And then there's other. I know Josh is going down to the studio to film his project. So I know he's talking to Dana about building out the captain's quarters again. So lots of good stuff happening at the studio, not Axanar. Well, in addition to Axanar. You'll love it. You'll love everything that's coming out. So anyway, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a happy new year. Please be safe. Please be careful. And as always, live long and prosper, my friends. You take care. Cheers.